Hey guys, so welcome to my new video on the new interface system. Now the first thing I want to mention before I get into any parts of this interface is that this system is still an alpha, and hence is going to be still full of bugs, and it's not quite finished. There's still lots of things that are yet to be added to the game, so expect to not see the finished product. So obviously what we want as alpha testers, anyone who has access to this, is to post on the forums and post any bugs that you find, and post any suggestions, because you might not like something as it is. If you don't like something as it is, then post about it. That is the whole point in the alpha, and so that Jagex can get our feedback, as this is a completely revolutionary idea for RuneScape to be able to do such a thing. I've already had a mess around with it, and I think it's absolutely amazing the amount of customization we can do. So I'm just going to roughly go over what I've got at the minute. So you can clearly see I've got my ability bar at the top. It's probably not the best place for it, but as you can see, I can just simply drag it around. Now, this red box comes up. This means you cannot put any of the interfaces there. Now, the reason this is obviously, it's for obvious reasons, is that this is where your character is, and if you were to just plonk that on top, you wouldn't be able to see your own character, which would be a bit silly. But anyway, there's a few buttons on this ability bar that are possibly different, and that is the we've got the quick press there. Now if I click quick press, you see my press come up there. Now that looks in a very dodgy location, but I will be covering that soon, and we'll click quick press again to see how it affects it. There's a button here that just says toggle. It looks like some cross swords, but at the minute it doesn't seem to do anything. I'm not really sure what that is meant to do. It clearly looks like a feature that will be added soon. Now, I think I mentioned this in a video before, is that one thing I think should be added to the ability bar is the ability to separate this bar here at the bottom. There's lots of times when you're playing RuneScape where you're not necessarily going to be in combat, and you don't really want to have the ability bar active, because you want to be able to type instantly instead of having to hit enter first. So a lot of the times when I'm playing RuneScape, I'm not even doing anything, I'm just standing around chatting, and I'd much prefer my ability bar to be closed. Now at the minute, you can only close interfaces with an X. I hope they add the ability to close any interface, so even the minimap, even this thing here, and just be able to customize everything to even further than you already can. So anyway, you also have the minimap. Now, as I said, you can move everything, but you can also resize it. This ability bar, you can rotate, you can resize. It's a bit dodgy at the moment. You can rotate it, you can have it any way you want. And it looks a bit strange like that. But if I put it like that, the big bars go down like this, and it's kind of nice. There's lots of different ways you can have it. It's pretty awesome, must say. Rotate. That's what I want it. Put it back up there for now. So the minimap, you can resize this. Now you can resize it obviously as big as you can. I haven't actually got my RuneScape window it's the biggest size I can. Now one awesome thing that I find with this is, so I've made the minimap huge. Obviously there is a limit, and to be honest, personally, I hope to make the minimap bigger in terms of don't have this boundary. Just make it a bit larger so that you can make it really large. And as you can see, I can click all the way up there, and that's a long way. I mean, that really is a long way, and I can walk there in one click. That just makes getting around, it's just going to be so much faster, you know. And I think that's a really awesome thing. As you can see, I'm loading here. When HTML5 comes, we won't have any of them loading screens, so that's even better when they're joined together. Also, on this minimap, there's the new feature of the home teleport button. So this brings up the Lodestone network, and it gives you easy access to your home teleport button. One thing that I've not liked about the ESA ability book is that it's sometimes hard to find teleports. Personally, I'd hope you'd be able to do all teleports off this, and that's one suggestion that I'd like to make. You have your world map button there. Obviously, that hasn't actually been implemented yet, so I can't have a look at that. So here I've got my private chat open. This doesn't have to be here, as if you can see, I can drag this back onto my global chat, and you have all your chats here. So if I go in global chat, this is where you'll get like everything you normally do, and you have all your filters along here. They don't have right click options anymore, you must left click them. So if I want to turn assist request off, I'd click it to friends only, click it again off, click it again on. So it's like it cycles through them rather than right clicking. There is a little bug there that chat seems to overlay the filters. I'm sure Jagex already know about this one, however. my friends list, I'm just going to close that, as I'd probably only have that open while I'm actually chatting. Now you have all your different sections over here, much like we used to, but you also have the emotes interfaces now on here, rather than on your side stones. So moving on to the menu on the sides, or the side stones, you can resize it, you can rotate it, much like you can with the ability bar. It's not to the point that you can drag it to make it bigger or smaller, like you can with the other interfaces. You can just have it two different sizes, I think. Resize. Oh, so resize makes it into a 4x2 or an elongated one. So I'd say a nice way to have this is just down the edge like this. That doesn't take up too much room. It's very unintrusive. Ooh, I'm getting messaged on Skype. And you can just go along here and click whichever you need. And now there is two coming soon. I'm not sure what these are. That looks like some skills. That could be related to the GE. I'm not sure. There's also a report bug button in game right now. I'm not sure if that's going to be a permanent feature. However, for this beta, it gives you a really quick way to just report any of the bugs on this alpha for the new interface. I'm actually dragging this video out quite along. Let's move on to My Hero. So you have a My Hero tab now. This is kind of like your character and your character's home. This is where you can see all your information about your character. So you have just all your stats here, your quests and your tasks. You have your My Skills here. So this is like the skill guides, where before you would click on your skills, you'd have your skills down here, you'd click on your skill and you'd bring up the related skill here. Now, when the skill guides were released in this format, they would come up with a big black banner around the outside. You couldn't see the game at all. But now they've made the interfaces so that they don't come up with a black banner, and that's amazing, because I really, really didn't like the new skill guides. The same with the notice board. They were very annoying. But as you can see your skills here. Now, any interface that has this brown bar at the top, as you see, when I hover my mouse over it, it turns into a moving symbol. And I can actually drag this skills interface off of that interface onto this background. So if I'm skilling and I want to have my skills up, just so I can check my XP, just hover over, check the XP, or check the XP at level, I can just drag it off. I can maybe move the size. I can even make it tiny and just have a scroll bar, just a scroll down. And I mean, if I was only training, say, if I was only training rune crafting, I would just have it very small, move it to rune crafting. I don't think you can make it smaller than that. It'd be nice if you could make it smaller. And I can literally have it just rune crafting there and take up as little space as possible, just so I can check up the rune crafting XP while I train, or the XP to level. So that's that. If I go back to this interface, My Hero, there we go. You also have My Achievements here. That's all your tasks, and you can also grab your active task here and drag that window off as well. So going through to My Inventory, this is where you see your backpack. Now, conventionally on RuneScape, you'll have your backpack just at your... Generally, it's an interface you always have open. And if you wanted to continue on with that, obviously, again, you can see this brown banner. You can simply drag it off, have it wherever you like on screen, and use it as you normally would. The interface has like a new look, as you can see, like empty squares where all your items will be. The money pouch feature is also in your inventory now, so you can see my money there, and I've just got a random few things in my inventory. This is clearly off me getting my comp kit back yesterday. Here you will see your armor stats and your weapon stats for basically the gear that you're wearing. I've only got a comp kit on at the minute, and it looks like a nice new interface. It doesn't look like it's quite perfect yet. You can see there's some random lines going along here. Not really sure what that's about. Obviously, it's just bugs that will be sorted out. So it has a nice feel to it. It has just... It does have a nice feel. The colours look nice. It just looks... The interface itself just feels more professional. And it's really awesome. So, and also you have your worn equipment here with the brown banner that you can drag off. And if I drag this off... Drag. Or maybe not. It doesn't want to drag. Oh no, it's because I've still got that open. That's why. No, get rid of that. My inventory. And if I drag this off... Close that. You can also resize this, and if I make that small, you can see here I haven't got my character spinning anymore. I simply have just a basic inventory icon, much like the one you kind of had down here before, where you just have all the items that you can wield listed. So that's pretty awesome. You also have a few more coming soon tabs here, which I think are probably related to the Solomon store. You have the wardrobe, which I assume is like the outfits you've bought. Titles, again, that's related. Animations, again, that's Solomon's, and appearance. I think that is the Solomon store customization screen right there. And you also have My Adventures. So this looks like a quest icon, but I think this effectively loads the old, what was known as the notice board, but it's now been renamed as My Adventures. So a big mistake with the notice board was that it covered up the whole screen. It was just annoying. To get to quests took a while. So now opening the quest list isn't much of a hassle because you simply click that, this loads up, it's above your screen much like it always was, and you can see your quest list here, and you can click on whatever quest you like and you can read it. That's a lot faster than what it used to be, and I think that's a big improvement. Personally, I would like it if you could still customize even more than you already can. I mentioned it before. If you could drag my quests off and have this, if you could have the quest you were doing, let's say you're doing Spirit of Summer, and I could click on this Spirit of Summer icon here, drag it off, and I'd have this constantly open while I'm doing the quest. That would be really handy when doing a quest, and that is a great, that's my suggestion for that anyway, and hopefully that would be something really awesome to see. So you have much the same as your notice board. There's nothing much new going along here, but there's also a new section here called My Paths, which is currently locked in. It says coming soon. I have no idea what that is. Going to be interesting to know what that is when it's released. Wonder if they'll add it before they finish adding, before they actually release RS3. So now you have My Powers. Now this is effectively like your old skill book, your ability book, and your spells, etc. And this is where it comes up now. So now you have your prayers all here. You have your abilities here, so you can see I've got the different tabs, ranged abilities, magic abilities, so I've got my teleports here, and you can also drag this off. So as I said, anything brown you can drag off. So if I was skilling and I wanted to be teleporting around, I could just drag that off and I could teleport wherever I want. I could be high alking, have it right there, but obviously I could just put it on my ability bar anyway. And there's a nice drag here button. I think this is to make an ability bar. So if I drag that here, I'm not sure. Oh, I think it's an information screen. So you drag it there and it tells you the information about it. So it has level 34 here. It doesn't look quite finished. It looks rather black. That's a rather interesting concept. I'm not too sure I really see the point in having to drag it there rather than just clicking it. Anyway, so you have a lot of different tabs here again. You have melee, ranged, magic, defensive, and prayers. Now this is quick powers. So I assume this is like a quick look at your current prayer book and your current abilities. Now these might give you more in-depth information about each section. So this is like your melee section, your ranged, your magic, and your defensive section. And then your prayers will be obviously like your cursors or your prayers. So you can also put your cursors up here, and obviously, ooh, skills. That's also on the same interface. Not really sure. That's blank. So maybe that's something coming soon as well. So obviously you got your quick press there. Actually, one thing I mentioned about that quick press button is that it's rather small, if I'm honest. It might be a bit difficult to click if you haven't got it on your ability bar. So anyway, moving on to My Social. Now, this is completely unfinished at the minute. Currently, you can see in the background, though, that you can join many clans by the looks of it. This guy, well, the image they've put in the background has a clan list and has 3 clans: Paris, Arthur Pendragon, and Dindrain. Now, currently in RuneScape, you can only join 1 clan. So I don't know if this means you can be able to join multiple clans. I'm not sure, but obviously you can clearly see on screen it says feature coming soon. Now, this bit as well looks like the adventures log. So when you log into the adventures log on the RS website, you'll see your friends' like recent tasks, and it'll say what they've been doing, whether they completed the quest, they've got a drop from next, and that's pretty much, you're going to be able to see that in game. And you can also, it's got some sort options, so you can sort by friends. You might be able to view everyone, such as like anyone in the current world or the whole of RuneScape, which is pretty nice. You can also search by time, or sort by time anyway. And then you have lots of other tabs, which are currently coming soon. You can have a good guess what they are. I'm not really sure what my friends could be, but my clan is obviously probably the clan you're in and information about that clan. Leaderboards is interesting. I assume that's going to be like the high scores, and you can look at the high scores in game without having to go to the website. It's pretty awesome that you're going to be able to see these features that before it was a hassle. You had to load the RS website and go and look for them, or people would be using the SwiftKit client to have the high scores next to the RuneScape window, and maybe there's going to be no need for that anymore. And then obviously you got your chat settings here. Now this is like your chat settings where you select your colours, etc. And also you can see your clan and your friends chat here, so you can drag these off much like you can with the other ones and put them if you want them on your screen. Personally, I don't think I'd like these on my screen, but this is where you look for them if you want to see them. You also have your friends list here, so this is one that I'm not sure I'm a huge fan of, because it does take up a lot of space on your screen. So if I drag it off and put it up here, it's quite space using, to be honest. And what you could do is make it, let's try and resize this. You could make it really small, and whenever you want to PM friends, make it big, PM them, and make it small again. But personally, I think it's a bit of a hassle because it's not the fastest interface to get to, and it also covers your screen. Now, you can't really move these around, so I'm not sure I'm a huge fan of that. Now, there is one big feature that I've kind of missed out so far, and that is the fact if you hit escape, you get this menu here. So this is where you'll log out, exit a lobby or exit to runescape.com if you want to fully log out, and you have all your general settings here. Now if I go in game settings, you can see there's a nice interface for the settings now. This is where you also find your notes interface, which used to be on your side stones, and if you want to leave yourself a note, you can simply add it here. So I think it's disabled at the minute. I know they said that on the forums. So you have all these settings here. This is like your A-log settings to choose which ones you want to appear on your A-log. You can select your house settings here. And there's a lots of different settings, just most of them that already existed. I think there's some new ones, but it's all pretty, to be honest, it's pretty awesome. And you've got your warning settings here, actually. This is currently something you have to actually go to Lumbridge it to talk to the guy about to change it. So that's nice to have that there. There's just a lot of settings there, which is nice, and it's also a really nice interface. You've got your graphics settings here, and you've also got your audio settings, so you can go down. And you've also got your music player here if you want to put that on your RS window as well. So going back to the escape menu, they're just quick shortcuts to the graphics and audio tabs of the same interface. And also you have this extra setting called edit mode. This is an awesome customizable feature. It's just a more advanced sort of deal, and you can also save presets of your layout. So say you want to have a preset for, as you can see, skilling, then you can have. They've got inbuilt default modes, just so that if you're a new player and you're not really sure what you're doing, you can automatically pick a layout that seems suitable. And what Jagex said, this is a good skilling layout. This is just an example of what you can have. And that's really nice. If I click skilling layout, as you can see, you have your backpack, a small mini-map down here, your ability bar's kind of shrunk into the corner, and you have just a nice screen for skilling. Say I go on the old school layout. This is effectively what the default fixed screen was. This is pretty much exactly what fixed screen looks like. And you also have combat layout. Now, this effectively, what Jagex say, is a screen for doing combat. So your abilities and your inventory are the forefront of the interface for you. So if I close that, cancel, it'll go back to what I had. Confirm, yep. And edit mode again. So you've got three little buttons up here. Advanced options, 3D world editing. Now what this allows you to do, if I move my my mini-map out the way. No, I didn't turn that on. Edit mode. And you can see now the brown bar has appeared on the game window. So if I resize this, I can resize the game window so that it doesn't, the interfaces are actually off the side of the game window. And I can play like that. Personally, it's not something for me. But it must be for, I imagine it would be for some people, and that might be something that you want to do. So you just turn that on like that. Obviously, you don't want to have that brown bar at the top when you're normally playing. The minigame HUD editing. Now, this is really awesome because when you're playing games like Castle Wars, there we go. when you're playing games like Castle Wars, the interface is actually smaller and than your actual game window just because of resizable. And this is effectively choosing where you want things to appear. So like you've got team scores up here and stuff like that. Just, you know, the general information that you get when you're playing mini games. So personally, I think making that pretty much full screen is the best way for it. Possibly leaving it a bit smaller so that you can have room for your interfaces. So I'm going to leave like that, like that. And you also have the gameplay HUDs editing. Now, this is an awesome one, personally, for me. Can you make that smaller? This is your central interface. So as you see, when I opened my home port teleport, you know, like the lodestones, that appeared over there. That means that that is a part of the central interface. So anything that's going to appear like that, you can pretty much you can select where you want it, and it's awesome. To be honest, this is the buffs and debuffs. So that was the quick prayers, like slaughters and all, and momentum, them sort of symbols that would normally appear on your combat tab. You can put them wherever you like. Grave timer, you can put wherever you like. Grave interface. This is the interface that pops up when you hit your grave to pick up your loot. So you don't want to have that over your character really, because you'd like to be able to see what's going on. So you can put it where you like. Area status. I'm not really sure what that is, to be honest. That might be something new that's coming. Task complete. So when you complete a task and you get that little window that pops up. New task. Put it where you like. You can like just drag it. Just put it wherever you want. Can be crazy. Game dialogue. That's something that's nice to have where you can easily see it. I think that's like dialogue that comes up during a quest. By default, in the current RuneScape, that comes over your chat screen, which probably isn't the best place for it, to be honest. You would like it to be separate, and now you can have it separate. You can put it up here. When you're doing a quest, the chat will just come up here, and it'll be nice to just be able to read it and still have your chat open and just general stuff. So anyway, I've blabbed on about this for far too long, but you can see I've just had a mess around with it. Now, if you've got access to the alpha, just go on, try to clear your mind and just sit there, mess around with it. Try and figure out that's something that nice that works for you. Bear in mind that a lot of features obviously aren't implemented yet, but just make suggestions. Tell Jagex what you want as a player, and this is our time to tell them exactly what we want them to do. But anyway, guys, thanks for watching. I hope you found this insightful into the new interface, and I'll see you later.